Hello, welcome to another Pat's Chats. I'm, of course, Patrick Leeson from Out of the Basement. Today I'm joined by Jason Brant, a writer, YouTube designer, creator, plus now movie producer, I guess we could almost say.
Kind of.
Kind of. Welcome aboard, Jason. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for
Now,
having me. I appreciate it.
you're famous, well, semi-famous, I guess, you know,
Yeah,
for
sure.
the YouTube one, So Bad It's Good.
Hmm.
Now, I've seen some of the earlier ones, and they're a little rougher than now. So I guess it's been a
Yeah,
learning curve from you.
they're shit. Yeah, they're shit.
Have you thought about going back and re-edit, like redoing them to put them back up?
No, for a couple of reasons. First of all, can I swear here?
Oh God, yes, we are not PC. We are not PC rated at all.
Okay.
Like we
Uh,
just drop as many F bombs as you want to.
okay, I forgot to ask beforehand because I don't
Oh,
want to
no, no.
blow your channel up. I swear a lot. So, oh wait,
So do we. Oh,
there we go.
there we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
We're I'm trying to get we're trying to get sponsored by some beer companies. So until then, it's like no one knows what beer it is.
Uh, yeah, I mentioned mine only if people
Mhm.
send it to me. That's when I mentioned the beer. To answer your question, have I ever thought about re-editing them? No, because of a couple reasons. One, I laugh at a lot of bad movies on the channel,
Mhm.
and I think it would be hypocritical of me to take down some of my shitty work while I'm laughing at other people's old shitty work. So that's the first reason. And the second reason is I kind of want people to be able to see where we came from. You know what I mean? That like
Yeah,
we
it makes sense.
started with a GoPro, a microphone that didn't work, terrible
Yes.
greens. Like we have no idea what we're doing. I say that, and I think people think I'm being like making a joke. I don't know what I'm doing, and
Mhm.
I kind of want people to be able to see. Yeah, you can start off being just complete drunken idiots, and
Build up
if
there.
you just keep at it and get better, you'll make better stuff, and people will actually watch.
Now, what brought? I mean, like everyone always loves watching bad movies. What made you decide I'm going to do a YouTube channel and put it out there?
Well, I used to watch these movies in college with friends. Like we'd be hanging out on a Thursday night and be like, "Hey, let's put on Rock and Roll Nightmare," which was kind of the movie that started it all. And we would just laugh and riff on it and have a good time. And I graduated, I moved to a different state, and as I got other friends here, I kept watching bad movies with them. And eventually, I was watching with Brian, and I just said, maybe we should try recording this because I feel like the stuff we're saying is funny, and maybe people will get some value out of it. And then we started doing a thing where we sat at a table and talked about it, and it didn't feel organic at all. It was
Mhm.
bad. So, eventually changed the format, and I feel like we found our groove.
Yeah,
But yeah.
it works really well now because you're showing, well, not all the scenes, but some scenes here and there, but also your reactions to it as
Mm-hmm.
it happens, as opposed to, so remember when we saw this movie and we had this part? Yeah, it works much better.
Yeah, and we're both terrible actors, so trying to do anything prepared is just awful. So but I feel like I'm pretty good off the cuff, but if it's something prepared, I suck.
Yeah. So
So,
now, like I said, you're an author too because you've also done books.
mhm.
Now, was that from watching the movies that got you into doing the books, or was it sort of something you've always wanted to do before that?
It's a little bit of both. I didn't start writing until I was 30. I had a government job too that I quit and started writing full time. But before that, I had never written a word of fiction. So I've always been a voracious reader. I started reading very young, like a lot of books. Um, but I always wanted to tell stories, but I was more interested in movies. But the
Hmm.
more I kind of was on the peripheral of the industry, just knowing some people, and I was on a movie set in the 2000s, I realized I kind of hate Hollywood and a lot of the people involved. And I just thought, well, how can I tell stories I've wanted to tell, but not have to deal with all the bullshit? And
Yeah.
it was right around the time Kindle came out and independent publishing became a thing. And I realized
Mhm.
I think I can just do this by myself and not have to rely on anybody else. And that just kind of started it. And I haven't had a job since.
Oh, nice, congratulations. But yeah,
Thank you.
reading some stories from people who've been in the industry, it's like small movies are any movie's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's horrible. Now, watching you though, you still have like a nice reaction to the actions and stuff in these bad movies. Because I'm sure you realize how hard it is to make a movie. So even the fact that it's crap, it's still they got something done.
That's exactly it. And well, sometimes it's just to laugh at the movies, but
Yes.
often I like to show people that there's enjoyment to be had in a lot of these movies that were made for $5. It
Mhm.
might not be the enjoyment the person intended, but that doesn't mean they still aren't entertaining.
Yes.
So, we can go back and watch some of these vanity projects and, they're not coming across the way the person thought they would.
Neil
But
Breen, Neil Breen.
yeah, Neil Breen, a lot of these. And
Mm,
but I like to bring the attention of these movies to people because there's still something here.
yes.
And, a lot of times we're laughing at them, but at the same time, it's not like there are comedies today that we can laugh at. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
So I kind of fill that void with some of these movies. And if I can make them a couple of bucks by selling some DVDs for them on Amazon, I'm happy.
Well, I did like the ones you did for because I'm a Canadian, so the ones for the Canadian brothers, the karate brothers,
The McNamara brothers.
McNamara's brothers, yes. And it was interesting because just seeing from your videos, they did have better production in the newer one and stuff like that.
Way better. Yeah,
Yeah.
they definitely learned from some mistakes. That's still a vanity project, and it's still
Oh,
about
yes.
how great they are.
Yes.
But yes, they had somebody else. It seems like behind the camera calling the shots.
Now, the one thing do you hate seeing though is all that slow mo in those movies? I mean, I know they're trying to pad out the runtime, but I find it's way.
I don't know what they were doing with those, to be honest. I can only guess it's to pad runtime or to hide the fact that the fights were one move each, that they weren't really choreographed. I don't know, but at first it was kind of funny, like, oh wow, what's with the slow mo?
Mhm.
And then after like the 10th time, I'm like, dude, just play the fight scene. Come on.
It's not quite as bad as like lens flares everywhere, but it still sort of does.
Yeah, it's its own thing. I got to ask you, man, what's going on with these Canadian bad movies? Like, we're starting to
Well, okay,
delve
so
into these more. You guys have some crazy
it's similar
shit.
to the Germans. For a while, there was like a big tax break for doing movies,
Oh,
right? So there was this huge. If you did a movie, there you got a lot of tax breaks. So
okay,
that's why a whole bunch of people in the 70s and that just jumped on the bandwagon to create, all these movies.
okay.
It's same idea. It was like, hey, it's a tax break. All right, we did a movie. Yay.
I expect this kind of nonsense out of American films, but we've been catching a lot of Canadian ones lately that I'm like, what is happening up there?
Oh, yes. Well, there's one I'll have to find and send it to you. It's called Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter.
I have that. I think I
Oh, you
saw
do?
that in high school, but no, I have a copy of it at least.
Okay.
I have to double check, but yeah, somebody sent it to me.
You should. That's one you should do because again, that's Ottawa local, made I think like $10,000 budget. With all the
Wow.
people he knew locally and people volunteering their time, and it took I think 2 or 3 years because he maxed it again, similar to Kevin Smith. He maxed out his credit cards here and there. Um, and again, yes, he knew people in strip clubs, so that's how you get some of the women in there. But
I mean, that seems to be how they get a lot of hot women in these movies. Go to a
it's a
strip
Steven
club.
Seagal sort of thing, right?
God damn it. It really is. Is Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter intentionally goofy?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe don't
It's
watch it
not,
for
so
the
it doesn't
camera.
quite fit for your thing because it was meant to be sort of
Mhm.
silly. Um, but it's like I said, it's just when you look at the productions that I saw that in the theaters when it first came out. They had invited, put a notification, hey, come join us for this. And we were supposed to boo when the vampires came on and cheer when Jesus Christ came on and everything. So it was a lot of the crowd reactions, similar to when you guys, you get the whole 4 or 5 of you together. You
Mhm.
guys riff off each other for the movies.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now,
that I mean, if he oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say if he made that for $10,000, I mean, I'd heard of it before, like 20 years ago or whenever that
Yeah.
came out. So I'm guessing he made his money back and then some.
Oh, yes.
'Cause-
Like it's one of those ones like the Kids in the Hall thing, like 30 years down. Hey, look, I made enough money. I'm actually no longer in the
right.
red for this movie.
He finally paid that credit card off.
Exactly.
Good for him.
Now, I know you come back from Germany because you were there doing something quite special.
Mhm.
Are you allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
All right,
Anything
the
you want to know.
Last Kumite. How did that come about?
Well, that is Sean from Basketball Time Machine. This
Okay.
is that's a YouTube channel. It's about
Yeah.
old school basketball. He had messaged me shortly after my channel started to take off last year, and just liked bad movies, and offered me a lot of very very helpful advice about YouTube that made my life a lot easier. And he interviewed me on another one of his channels a couple times, and one of these times he said, "Hey, I want to make a movie. You know, if I can, I want you to be involved." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, buddy," because I've heard this a lot from people who want to adapt my books into movies. They're like, "Oh, I want to option your book, and we're going to make a movie." And okay, sure, you know. And then I never hear back from them again, or they option the book, and then I never hear back from them.
Yeah.
So I was
But at
just
least
like, okay,
you're getting paid at the option it though, right?
if it gets options, yeah, I get paid. Yeah. But I know, like, I've only ever seen one script based on one of my books after all this stuff. Like, I don't know why people spend money on rights to stuff and then just never go any further. It's amazing. But so he told me this, and I thought, yeah, sure thing. Not long after that, he's signing actors and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And then I want to say in February, maybe, he said, "Oh, I'm buying your plane tickets. What airport are you near?" And I'm like,
What?
Wait, what's this now?
What are you doing?
Yeah, that this is how it happened for me. I want to bring you on board. We're going to do an Indiegogo Kickstarter and all this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'm involved with this project now. So I had no creative input on this at all. I keep trying to stress that to everybody because I keep seeing people say that this is my movie. It is not. No. This is Sean's movie. He wrote this. He was the executive producer. He signed everybody. This is his baby. Cool. I helped him raise money. I helped him raise quite a bit of money. So I actually don't even know how I'm going to be credited.
That sometimes I think it's an executive producer just because you're the money guy per se.
I have no idea. I haven't even talked to him about it. So.
But you're okay, even you just get the little thanks to Jason. I mean, right? Because it's.
I would like something since I spent almost 5 weeks over there. But I honestly I did this as a favor to Sean. He helped me, so I wanted to help him.
Well, that's really nice.
I don't know that I would do it again. This might be one and done, but I felt like I owed him, so I wanted to help him in any way I could. So I helped him raise the money, and then I was over on the set every day.
Nice,
getting to hang out with Billy Blanks and Cynthia.
Yeah, that's incredible. So I did buy my T-shirt for Last Kumite, so September, hopefully it'll show up.
Thank you so much.
No worries. So now, when's Billy Blank going to be on your?
I don't know, man.
Your wife might just be like, "Hey, I'm out of here." Aaron will be like, "Thanks."
I wish I could have done something with him while we were over there. He is so nice, and he's very inspiring when you talk to him. Like very inspiring, but he is also incredibly busy and hard to get a hold of. I think he was the only actor that Sean had not personally spoken to before the movie started. Like when Billy showed up on set, that was the only time anybody had talked to him. It was all through his representatives. So I don't know if I'll be able to get Billy on. I would love to. We'll see what happens. I talked to him a lot. Like I felt like I got to know him quite a bit.
Okay.
So maybe I can reach out and see if
now that you've started getting famous people on your show there, you had Cynthia Rock, you had Matthias on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I know it's German. How do you pronounce it properly?
Matthias Huss.
Huss, right? Okay.
Yes. I was mispronouncing his name for months until I actually spoke to him. Yeah.
Because it's that German inflection. You're like, looks like this, but I don't want to say anything. So
yeah. And by the way, he does not care. He's lived in America for a long, long time. Everyone mispronounces his name. He doesn't care.
Okay.
I just asked him because I wanted to say it correctly, and I was like, "Oh, Matthias Huss. I have been just saying your name incorrectly."
Nice. How was it meeting them? Like Cynthia.
It was great, man. It was great. Everybody was super nice and down to earth, which I was hoping most of them would be. But you just never know.
No.
And I wasn't sure if any of them was going to want to kick the shit out of me, because I've watched a lot of their movies.
Yes, and making fun of them and all that.
Yeah. But nobody cared. Cynthia had no idea who I was. No. Billy had no idea who I was. Obviously, Matthias knew me.
Yes.
Kurt didn't know who I was. I didn't even know until I met Kurt that he only ever did 2 martial arts movies, and I've only watched one of them. So
yeah.
I'm trying to think of who. Muhammad Kisi recognized me, which blew me away. Matthias and Mikey Muller recognized me.
So was Matthias actually one of the people that was stalking you on the internet?
He has commented on several of the reviews we've done. Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
under a different account.
Oh
Yeah,
yes, but yeah. So that must have been fun when you found out that wait, you actually have been paying attention, watching my show and stuff.
it was surprising. So I
Yeah.
saw the comment he left, and he said, "Oh, this is Matthias," and I'm like, "Yeah, sure thing, buddy." But Sean already knew him, so I'd reached out to Sean and said, "Is this Matthias or not?" When he said it is, I was like, "Holy shit!" And I don't know. It's a weird thing because I want to keep whatever we're saying about the movie organic, and I don't want us
Hmm.
biting our tongues at all. But it is one of those moments where you think, "Hey, maybe I should be careful what I say." I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings,
No.
but at the end of the day, I just say whatever the hell I want.
Well,
But
I think most people realize that you're doing it in fun, right?
yes,
It's
it's all in fun except for Steven Seagal. He's the only guy I legitimately hate.
yes. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that.
Everything else, they're just jokes. And it's also why we usually only watch movies that are at least 10 years old, preferably 20 years old, because I feel like you're far enough away from something you created at that point that maybe it doesn't sting as much.
Hmm.
Like if I just released a book that I worked 6 months on and someone is just blasting me,
You'll feel
that
it,
stings. But if somebody's shitting on a book I wrote 12 years ago, I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, it probably
whatever.
stings.
Because
Yeah.
also sometimes you look back and like Cynthia's like she was saying, I have no idea what was going on in these parts. Like she didn't remember some of her own movies because it's so
She
long.
remembered shockingly little of one of those
It's
of
just been so
undefeatable.
long. I could understand, right? It's like it's
Yeah,
not like it's not her only movie. She's done a whole bunch, and I guess after a while, it's similar. They blend in after a while of like bad choreography, bad acting.
yeah. It was funny as we were watching it. She was like, "Oh yeah, oh I forgot about this." That was a pretty entertaining experience. Watching a Godfrey Ho movie with her, but
Yeah.
I mean that should tell you right there how cool she is. That she
Hmm.
was like, "Yeah, I'll watch this just terrible movie with you and make fun of it."
I actually know that I was going to say that it's really good that all the people you've met so far are, like you said, down to earth.
Yeah,
Because that like that
everybody
makes
was so
makes it
cool.
easier to deal with as opposed to talk to my agent or who are you? You know.
Yeah, honestly, it's a testament to Sean putting the movie together. He had talked to other actors and had gotten vibes from them that he didn't like, and ended up not signing them. And it just he did a great job putting this together. I mean, the guy's never produced a movie, never written a movie, and somehow did all this, got all these people involved, and raised money
Yeah,
for a movie, which is the hardest part, I think, is
it
getting
is.
funding. Because the Kickstarter is not all of the money for the movie by far.
No, I
So
imagine not. No.
he did just an awesome job getting people involved who were cool.
Yeah. See, one of my favorite B movies actors is Bruce Campbell,
Of course.
and he had one where it's like, if you do your own movie, for $1 million, you're lucky. Like if you can get funding for $1 million, you are extremely lucky.
You're a hell of a salesman if you can get a
You
million
know,
dollars.
he's like, if you can get 10% of that, half of that, you're still good. But
Yeah,
don't expect
raising $500,000 is not easy.
no. And he's also like, as soon as you do that, if you start getting, other people involved, they always want a piece of it. So I was like, if you want to keep your own creative juices, do it for really cheap,
Yeah,
and put that out
yeah,
and just build from there.
yeah. If people are giving you $200,000 of their own money, they want to have an input on what the movie's like,
Hmm.
and that's not what you want.
No.
That's definitely not what Sean wanted. He wanted to make an '80s movie, not '80s inspired, an '80s movie. So, in order to do that, you've got to have creative control of it.
and that is also very hard. So I'm impressed with Sean. I cannot wait to see this when it comes out because it's like
Me
I know
too.
you guys have been building it up for a while, and it's really good. Is there anything more in the future for So Bad It's Good coming up, or are you just going to stick with the same format now that it works? Or are you going to try to expand to different things as well?
Man, that's a good question. I go back and forth on this a lot because I am very stretched for time as it is. I haven't been able to write much at all,
Yeah.
and I would really like to get back into writing. I'm gonna have more guests on, but I also don't want this to just become, oh, this is a new celebrity this week. I
Yes.
want the show to be about hanging out with friends and watching bad movies primarily. I feel like that's what a lot of people who watch, and I notice because I get a lot of comments, just like, "Oh, I used to do this with my buddies, but
Hmm.
now we're married and have kids, and different jobs and we never get together and do this anymore. And this reminds me, not it doesn't just give them nostalgia for the movies, but it gives them nostalgia for hanging with their friends.
The time out, just sitting back with your buddies with a beer, just
Right.
shooting the shit, laughing at it, or
Right. And if
talking about a whole bunch of other stuff as the movie's too boring. You're just like,
exactly. So
yeah.
I want to still have more guests on, but I want to space it out some. I primarily want it to be about friends watching these kinds of movies. So we'll do stuff like that. If I keep doing interviews, maybe one a month at the most.
Mhm.
I've only done 2 so far. Well, one with Sean, I guess, promoting it, but
that's more of a not really a true interview. It's more like, this is the movie we're hoping to do and stuff like
exactly.
that.
Exactly. I've done Matthias and Uwe Boll so far, and I really enjoyed both of those, but I go back and forth on how involved I want some of the filmmakers to be.
Oh, I think the ones when you have them watching the movie with you has been the best so far. I mean, the interviews are nice, but sitting there having a beer with them watching
It's cool.
movie, it's
yeah, it's really cool. It's going to be hard to do that. I mean, I live in a townhouse. We record in my basement, so hey, Uwe Boll, why don't you fly to my house? And
exactly.
I totally won't tie you up in the basement. It's fine.
It's okay, really.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. If we move into a bigger place, maybe I'll get a studio or something at some point. But I don't know. I like the simplicity of it. We're gonna do. I've got some cool things coming up. I've got a couple guests coming up that'll be fun. Episode 200 is going to be bananas.
Oh wow,
So-
that's right. That's coming up soon, isn't it? That's like 2-3 away.
I'm recording that with a bunch of people. What's today? 19th. I think I'm recording that on the 5th of August to
Nice.
come out
Yeah.
at the beginning of September.
But I also, like I said, I think if you actually had a studio, you'd lose sort of that informal feel for the way you do So Bad It's Good. Because right
Yeah.
now you get Aaron hitting the mic a lot and other stuff like that.
Yeah, what I'm probably going to do is if our next house is bigger, I just will use more of the space of the house for it. We are very cramped right now for space, so I need
Yes.
something bigger, and I don't want to get a studio space and be one of those YouTubers who's like, look at my 3,000 square foot studio. Like, I don't need that anyway.
No.
And I don't want to spend the money on that. I don't know what the shelf life is on a bad movie channel.
That's understandable. I mean, right now you're at his credit. If there's just the three of you, it's okay. You start getting more, then you have to put the extra chair in front, and it makes it. Is off cam Pam ever going to be on cam?
Nope.
Nope. Jeez.
We were at a convention last year. It was called Scares the Care. They actually don't do it anymore. It's a charity convention that we would go to, and some author buddies of mine and I would hang out. Brian would go sometimes. Dave went, and we would just hang out and have beer and check out the convention. Very small, spend a lot of time at the bar. And we just told people during our live streams, hey, if you want to see us, we will be there. And a couple of people came. It was pretty cool. And they got to see what off-cam Pam looks like and hang out with her in person. Otherwise, unless it's a public appearance, not going to happen. She will always be off
cam Pam. Well, that's okay.
That's right.
It's a thing that you have going.
Yeah, it's fun. It works for her. I think she likes it.
Is there any point where you will say no more Steven Seagal movies on the show because of his, creepiness and stuff?
Not because of his creepiness, because it's not like I'm promoting his work here. I am.
No. Oh yeah, you did
horribly
really well.
Trashing him.
Yes. Yeah, you're not as polite with him as you are with.
No. We joke around about other people, but they're just jokes. I don't mean anything malicious. I am being malicious about Steven Seagal. I legitimately do not like that guy. Will we stop? Probably only when we run out of movies, just because they do the best, and it's clearly what people want. It's the number one request I get all the time. When's the next Seagal? I don't even know why, because I feel like they're all the same at this point.
Yes.
Oh, Steven Seagal's fat.
He waddles. He sits down. Yeah. He mumbles. He tries to do the accent with whoever he's with to make himself look cool.
Right. Well, yeah. What's his background today? Which actress is he going to rub down? Like, it's all the same shit, but people like it.
And well, you're right. If they're willing to watch it, you'll force yourself to sit through it and kill some more brain cells.
That I use the Steven Seagal videos as a gateway to other bad movies. So I try to space them out. Okay, yes. Here's your Seagal. Now watch Cruel Jaws with us. Now watch Champagne and Bullets. Like, these are the real gems. These Steven Seagal ones, are mostly just boring shit.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to use that as like a lot of other channels have done the Steven Seagal thing,
It's
and they just go full in all Steven Seagal all the time. And I'm like, yeah, but
there's more than
then
that.
then what? You know,
Yeah.
and you're depriving yourself of actual joy from watching some of these movies.
And also there's just so many bad movies out there.
Hmm.
I, and again, because 70s and 80s, it's everyone who had a bit of a cocaine back roll could make a movie.
Yeah, it's wild, man. People have sent us something like 1,700 movies now to
Oh,
watch.
jeez.
We won't get to most of them. A lot of them are
No.
box sets where they had one movie on there they wanted us to watch. A lot of them, people have sent us good movies sometimes. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I like when you watch it and you're like, this is actually a good movie.
Yeah, I, so I think some people just want us to have this giant collection now, so they're just sending us movies. But of those, how many are movies that are worthy of the channel? Several hundred. So I've got
Mhm.
years and years and years worth. It's wild, man. People keep sending me shit. Let's see, what do I have here? I got some I'm working on. We haven't like Killzone. Somebody sent me.
Oh my goodness. You
What is this? LA Wars. Like, what is
Ellie,
this?
what?
I don't know. The cover of it's really brilliant, though. I mean, look at that dude.
That's actually pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I
They
want to
probably
watch it
put more money into the graphics for the the intro.
probably.
Yeah.
So
Do you
yeah,
have
it's
Hobo with a Shotgun?
I have probably 4 copies of Hobo with a Shotgun. I haven't done it yet because I've heard it's extremely gory
Yes.
and
YouTube will be like
around.
YouTube will be like, yo, you can't show any of that stuff at all. So
Yeah, around October and November, YouTube started cracking down on any kind of violence. So a bunch of my old videos got demonetized because there was violence in it.
and
And that, they were okay with it before, and then they just decided they weren't anymore.
well, especially because you don't say they're for children either. Like you're like, no, there's an age restriction for this. Like, hello, and
Yeah, this is a very adult channel. This is not meant for kids. I
no,
mean, I have to censor out almost all the swear words now. Sometimes they're okay with it, but I'm just afraid 6 months from now they're going to decide
they'll
they're
change their
not.
mind again. Yes,
Right, and then all of a sudden I have no income from my old videos. So
which is
it's
really
annoying.
well, yes. I was going to say, watching other YouTube creators talk about how it's been demonetized. What happened? I don't know.
Yeah,
And
don't
there's
know.
no
They
one you
won't
can
tell you.
actually call unless you're really huge. There's no one you can pick up and call, reach out and say, "Hey, why did this one get demonetized but not that one?"
Yeah,
Have you ever been
yeah.
hit with the other one I know is the content copyright?
Oh yeah, all the time, all the time. Just when I get it figured out and I can go for 3 or 4 months without anything, then the rules change, and then I have to. But again, they don't announce what the rule change is. They don't tell
Mm,
you what you're doing wrong. So then I just have to
guess
massage it. Yeah.
and
I want to say in April there was clearly a change that was made because I had 3 videos in a row get hit when I hadn't had one get hit in probably 6 months for
oh,
copyright.
yeah.
So I had to make changes around April to my videos again, but I seem to be okay again right now.
But
But
again, who knows for how long?
yeah, I have Megaforce. Is that what that piece of shit was
Oh,
called?
that one from the 80s. Yeah, the
Yeah.
sci-fi sort of on the bikes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
So that's been up for 2 years now, probably, and it just got copyright claimed maybe a month ago. What?
And it's like copyright. This is from like the 80s people. Like who's still out there that cares about this movie?
I think they're just trying to steal my money. If I'm being
Probably
honest.
because you're promoted and you're actually getting paid for it. So
Yeah. You were asking about Hobo with the Shotgun, and I went off
yes,
on a tangent.
that's all right. That welcome to the basement. We do our podcasts and stuff. We always go off on tangents. We do Twitch streams for games, but then we like same as you just go off on other tangents. So,
I'm
but
bad
yes,
about it.
Hobo with Shotgun is very gory, so you wouldn't be able to show very very much besides Rutger Hauer's grizzled old face, which I'm not sure how
Okay.
many people want to watch.
Yeah, I really want to watch the movie, and I think we'd have a good time with it. I'm afraid, is it going to be an entertaining video for people to watch? Just us losing our minds to shit they can't see.
I think so because that's what a lot of people watch now, right? Most of the stuff is to watch you guys or
Well, maybe
or
I'm
have
moving
the
up the
meme
queue.
from Dave.
Yeah, good old Dave.
Actually, because you guys doing the Barbarian Brothers, that
Mhm.
movie, my friends and I, we went out and we got it, and then We're talking about, because the reminded my buddy of the Tusken Raiders from Star Wars.
Oh
And he
yeah,
went,
okay.
I could never watch the Tusken Raiders ever again without thinking of that guy from the Barbarians with the oiled up butt.
Yep. What a movie. You went out and got a copy of it?
Yes, we got a copy of it.
Did you watch it?
Oh, yes. Oh, we watched
Wild,
it all
huh?
the way through. And it was funny because you could tell low budget because everyone else except for the people who grew up were all in the same costumes, same makeup, same age. Nothing had changed. It's like, hasn't it been 18 years or something? And all of a sudden, but they still look the same and they're still wearing the same clothes.
They were real hazy about the timelines. I did not follow a lot of that. That's a movie, man. That's a wild one.
Yeah. But it was fun, like I said, because when you're with your buddies and you get to riff it and you're just like, you miss some dialogue because you're just laughing at it too much. You're like, and again, follow the plot points for some of these movies. I agree with you. It's always one of those ones. What just happened and why?
Yeah, I get so much enjoyment out of that, and I'm one of the only ones in my friend group who enjoys the bad writing. But I love it. Trying to be like, wait, why are we here?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
And see, this is where I also go, and I'd rather watch a low budget movie that has good writing than one of those high end Hollywood ones where the writing is just formulaic. You know,
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, and there's
yeah,
this strike right now, and they're worried about AI taking their jobs. I'm like, well, if you actually wrote a good movie, maybe you wouldn't have to worry about it.
yeah. Well, that's just it. Because if you watch some of the AI stuff, it's crap. Like I've looked, I've done some stuff for Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, okay, give me a dungeon with AI, and it's like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Hollywood movie.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, it's like okay, this could be a Transformers movie. Like this is the same level of writing.
And that's where I guess I'm not sure for I feel bad for the lower end ones because like a lot of the new ones movies are they're formulaic. It's all the same. And it's crap. Like Avatar, I hated Avatar. Looked pretty, but the rest was crap. But it made billions of dollars.
Yeah, Avatar, and I'm gonna be honest. I think Avatar is one of the better Hollywood movies. I we have a pass, like a Regal pass, so we go to the movies a lot. Most of what we see, I just cannot believe somebody spent 50, $100 million. Like I
Mhm.
just cannot wrap my head around it. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening in Hollywood at all right now. It's crazy.
People want escapism, I guess. They pay for it. I mean, Blade
I
Runner
honestly,
20.
I think there's a reckoning coming. I think the movies have been so bad for a while now, and they're just so uninteresting.
Yeah.
I think things are really going to change here in the future.
I think they have to. I mean, when Blade Runner 2049 made lost money, but other ones are going, how can Transformers make more money than this? Or it's just And I
Yeah.
also think the trend for superhero movies is reaching a peak as well.
Oh, they're so bad now. Like Marvel's toast. Star Wars is toast. They killed Indiana Jones. Like
Disney never really took, or DC never really took off because they just kept.
yep. Yeah, all
Speaking
these
of,
movies are losing money. It's crazy.
so there's a lot of bad superhero movies out there as well from the early days,
Oh yeah.
like Captain America.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Have a copy of it.
Okay,
I have the Punisher. Yeah, we're gonna do those for sure.
okay, yeah.
For sure.
So do you ever plan to do like a theme one when you're? So I know you guys watch two movies in the same day usually, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you ever have a plan for a theme? I know you do with the Seagal and stuff, or is this more like, let's just grab stuff and throw it in?
It's usually pretty random what I pick. It's the cover looks interesting, or that title's really stupid. Or if I'm looking through and I'm like, oh, that's a David A. Pryor movie. I can't get enough of that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's usually pretty random. The Seagal stuff, like, okay, we're gonna watch a Seagal movie, but I don't usually pick one unless I'm like irritated that I have to watch a Seagal. Then I pick the shortest one, or I put polls up on Patreon. Like I just put one up today for the next Seagal because I don't know. They're all the same, Mercenary for Justice, Hard to Kill, Pistol Whip. Like they all have the same generic titles.
Douchebag on sit chair.
Yeah, fat asshole fights and seat. Yeah. Themes. We did one. I guess we didn't really do much with it. Aaron and I were watching movies one Friday by ourselves, and I just did like hot girl night. I just picked movies with super hot girls on the cover. Halloween, we usually will do some horror movies. We are doing something for episode 200. I won't say what it is,
That's
but
okay.
that
It's
is themed.
okay.
It's going to be crazy.
Will the whole crew be there for that, or you're still not
Dave will
sure?
be here. Brian will be here. Aaron will be here. Off Cam Pam will be here. And I might have another friend who's never been on might be here.
Okay.
So yeah, it's going to be a full house.
Oh, that'll be crowded. Beer time.
Oh, I don't know where everybody's going to sit, and I don't know where I'm going to store all the beer, but it's going to be a good time.
How did the beer start coming to you for these shows?
Well, at first it was I have a neighbor who is a beer rep, like a local beer rep for stores. He sells, Dogfish Head to a local beer store. And he started giving me beer to promote for small breweries,
Oh, nice.
just when I was starting to get views. So we did that for, I don't know, 6 months, 5 months. So we got a lot of beer that way. And then that kind of dried up. And then people just started sending me beer. So yeah, like
There's a great perk of the job.
This is, I think, the last one left. Somebody sent me some Lakefront Brewery beer. There's your
Nice.
promotion. Yeah, so I'm like, all right, you're going to send me beer. I'll drink it on the show. No problem.
Oh, of course. I mean, then that fits in. Usually, bad movies and friends, beer or other stuff, goes along.
That's one of our rules. You got to have some alcohol if you're watching these movies, and you never watch them alone. Do not watch bad movies alone.
No,
don't watch them sober. It's brutal.
Yes, it's so very hard. Because, like I said, I used to. Everyone's done that. You're right. You get together with your friends, just like what's the worst movie out there that we can find.
Yep.
And do you miss the writing though? I know, like you said, you don't have any time for it. Is that something that you're thinking maybe take a break to get do another novel?
No, I won't take a break from So Bad It's Good, but I've gotten much more efficient with the editing. The problem was, as I was getting more efficient, other things started taking that time. I was in Germany for damn near 5 weeks. I get back and I had a whole month's worth of work to catch up on. Like this week, something came up, so I'm going to be out of town for a couple days. So I have to truncate. Like it's just constant. I may be writing a movie towards the end of the year. That's a thing. So honestly, I just need to prioritize it to get back into it. I do miss it. Last I checked, I have like 45 novel ideas that I want to get to. I just have like a spreadsheet almost with ideas full, and I do miss it. It's just, this has become a real thing. It's been a lot of fun. I've got to do really cool things because of the YouTube channel. It's a great excuse for me to get together with my friends. That's probably been the biggest benefit, to be honest, is scheduling a time every week to hang out and just not worry about kids and work and whatever's going on in the world. We just hang out. It's almost like college, where it's like, okay, we're hanging out.
Yes. People are like, oh, you're like, you don't realize in college how much time you got to hang out with your buddies until later on. It's like, so you want to get together? Okay, I'm free this day. Oh, I'm not. How about next week? Okay, 2 weeks from now. Oh, well, no, I got something there. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So that's why now it's every Friday night at 5 p.m. we are recording, and whoever can make it, come hang out. And hopefully we'll have more people in the future. But yeah, it's been a really great thing. So I won't stop doing that in order to start writing again. If anything, maybe I'll get an editor. I hate to do that. It would also take up all my money.
Yes.
But I would like to write again soon. I do miss it.
Well, I was also going to say, So Bad It's Good right now still feels like fun for you, right? It hasn't reached a point where it's a chore where it's like, that's right, we got to do this.
The editing is brutal, but
yes. Even people don't realize how long, some people don't realize how long it takes video editing. When I talk to people who've done it, they're like, oh yeah, I understand why it's going to take you that long to put it out. Because I tell people, see, this is not my full-time job. I have a full-time job. So I tell them, I do this plus other stuff. So video editing, you're lucky if I can get it out in a week. For a 1 hour interview, if I can cut it down, that'll take me 3 times as length to get it to a proper job. Yeah. I can just imagine what it's like for you. Yes. I guess what I'm doing is like you, where you have to make sure you edit out stuff and all sorts of other things. And
each movie we have an hour and a half to 2 hours of footage that I have to go through. It's
multiple times.
A lot. It's a lot. I have to get the audio unscrewed because I always mess something up. So there's always a disaster.
And then the floating Dave's heads to cover up the nudity.
Yeah. I mean, if we're drinking too much and I'm swearing a lot, which is usually how you can tell if I'm swearing a lot in an episode, it's because the beer is pretty strong. Dude, that takes time, like editing all those out, putting the sound effect over it.
Yeah.
Each one's maybe 30 seconds, but if I swear 50 times.
Well, also you got to pick up on it, right? You have to actually pay attention. It's like, oh shit, someone else said something, know.
Yep. One slipped through the other day. I didn't notice it until it was uploaded, and I was like, oh hell with it. It is what it is.
If it's like this, the PG rated nowadays, you're allowed one F-bomb.
Yeah. Yeah. I will look. I was experimenting with letting a few through to see what YouTube would be okay with. Yeah. And I've just basically stopped doing that because I just don't trust them at all.
But of course, it's funny though, because like I said, nowadays on PG rated, you're allowed one F-bomb, but you remember the 80s PG rated.
Anything went in the 80s, man.
It's like, is that blood and guts? That's PG.
Howard the Duck, I'm like blown away.
Watching your reactions to Howard the Duck. Because I remember that I was like, why is there duck boobies?
I don't know. And, I got a lot of comments about that. People saying this is not a kid's movie. I'm like, really? Because half of it feels like a kid's movie.
It was. When it came out, it was supposed to be, general audience sort of family idea when it came out.
I mean, there's a hang glider scene that is clearly for kids. It is just stupid kids movie nonsense.
Yeah, but then Leah Thompson making out with.
Yes, it's like, what is this? Who is this made for?
And just like this is like, I get all the jokes where they say 80s was built on cocaine. When you see a movie like this, you're like, I can understand it now because it's a mix mash of all sorts of themes and genres, like just thrown together on screen.
With a talking duck.
With a talking duck.
What?
Because I read some of the comics back in the day, and they were more serious than that, and there was no interbestiality sort of thing either.
Yeah, I never read any of them. A bunch of people said they were good, but
they were. Never,
yeah, I never.
And then this came out. It's the same as I did. Like, oh, cool, they're doing Howard the Duck. I enjoyed the comics. What are they going to do? Oh God,
it's bad, man. That's a bad movie,
and that was a big budget movie too.
Yeah,
like that's not like a Vanity Fair, $20,000 movie. This was serious funding for the guy
who lost their ass on that movie,
who had done Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Wars, and then Howard the Duck.
We all make our shit. Mine is still on the channel.
So, have you ever seen the full? Speaking of George Lucas, the Christmas special.
I haven't actually.
Oh God,
I haven't.
If you really hate yourself, watch that one.
I do occasionally like to torture the crew with something bad.
The thing to remember for this one is George Lucas said Howard the Duck is okay, but the Christmas special is not. You will not find a DVD of that one anywhere.
Wasn't it on YouTube for a while? Maybe
it was on YouTube. You can still probably find it for free on YouTube. Okay. There's enough out there where people have just put it up, but he still refused ever to put it out on DVD or anything.
Interesting. I don't know how this started, but it is around Christmas when I like to put on something to really torture them. So maybe it'll be that this year.
Just don't tell your Aaron or Dave or Brian until they show up.
Oh, I never do. They have no idea what we're doing.
Oh, they don't. Okay, you just sort of.
No. When the episode starts and I say what we're doing, that's the first time they've heard it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. For Howard the Duck, I had a bunch of the DVDs sitting out. I usually try to hide them, and I forgot, and they saw them, so they knew we were doing that. But otherwise, yeah, they have no idea. Now, if they show, if they come down into the basement and I have the Seagal stand in the corner, they know it's about to happen.
I do like your Sifu little credit or little song that you do for when it's a Seagal movie.
Thank you. Dave hitting the high notes.
Yes. How much fun was it to do that?
Fun, man. We spent, I don't even think it was 5 minutes recording that.
Oh, yeah.
We just took the lights that shine on the chairs, held up a green screen, shined the lights on it. Dave stood in front of it, and I said, just sing Sifu Seagal and just get higher. Do it like 4 or 5 times, get higher each time. Bing, bang, boom, done. And I was like, all right, do a little martial arts kung fu stuff. And he was out the door because he had to leave, and I was like, "Just it'll be 5 minutes."
Really? Oh wow!
Jeez. Yeah, it was less than 5 minutes. That whole thing, just done. We did no second takes. He just
nailed it right away.
louder and louder, did some martial arts, and walked out the door.
Yeah. Uh, did you ever check out that the video about Neil Breen teaching movies?
No, that's his what's he called? His retrospective or
Yes, his,
I've never watched that, no.
I haven't either. I just again, he's got a message in his movies, which okay, that's good for you, but like yeah, how much
Breen's a
of
special
Superman
guy.
can yeah. I'm not sure what he's like in person. I don't know you if you, I've never heard about him outside of his movies that
Nope,
you and
me
others
either.
have done. Um, but like again, I got to give him credit. He actually does the movies. I don't
Yeah,
think.
you're totally right, man. He is getting movies done and he's making enough money at them that he keeps making more.
Yeah.
I love his movies for all the wrong reasons,
Well, yes.
but at the end of the day, if he's getting to keep doing what he likes to do and he's making enough money at it to keep doing it, good for him.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and people are being entertained. You know, it may not be how he wants it to be, but it's making money.
Yeah, like good for him.
Yeah.
Legitimately, like not being a smartass.
No, no.
Good for him.
Yeah.
And I hope he keeps doing it because I get an immense amount of pleasure out of his movies. I've
Yeah.
actually seen all of them except for the new one that I think he's doing a circuit, like a festival circuit or something
Okay.
with now. But it's been so long since I've seen them, and a couple of them I was so drunk, I don't really remember them. So at some point, I need to watch them again.
It's like, wait, which one was this again? Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
do
we
you go
always
to,
put those on like the end of the night. So,
yes.
we've watched like 2 or 3 movies and I'm feeling no pain.
Well, especially when you're getting the 8% or more beers that,
Man, we've had some really strong beers.
and I'm surprised Dave plows through them so quickly.
Dave is a professional. Uh, but there have been times where he is just so freaking hammered. I'm like, my God, man. The first, no, I don't think it was the first time he was on. Maybe the second time we did 4 movies in one day.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't live close to me, so that's why he's not
Oh,
on much.
okay.
So
yes.
what he does is he comes for a weekend and we will record 4 at a time.
Yeah.
But the one time we did 4 in a day,
Oh,
and
God.
the third one was the Megaforce episode, and we were so bored that he was just like pounding. Yeah. And then after that, we did Deadly Prey, and that's the one where he said that PTSD or whatever.
Yes.
And he was like super drunk. That's why. That was the 4th movie of the day.
Okay. Was there any tropes that piss you off the most though when you're watching a movie? Like not just for, because I know you enjoy watching the movies, but is there any that you're like, okay, enough of this, guys. Can we just not have it in a movie?
The rape scenes are probably the worst, other than anything Steven Seagal does. That's
yes, obviously, yeah.
But I hate when these B movie directors or exploitation directors or whatever the hell you want to call it, when they put a rape scene in and it's an excuse to have boobs in the movie.
Yes, and they go on way too long.
That. Yeah,
like
we get it.
Yeah,
it's a bad guy. They're a bad guy. I get it. It's the same thing with torture scenes. I hate that shit. You don't need to just have that in there just to get a reaction out of people. I hate it. But in the movies we watch, the rape stuff's probably the worst. I mean, watching Undefeatable again, I'd forgotten how long that one scene is.
Yeah, it not because you didn't show it all on the YouTube one, but I just imagine because it's like, okay, we get it. He's raping her. Enough. Another rape. Oh, okay. Oh, another rape. Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's a bad guy. I get it. Is there a story here? And turns out Undefeatable. No, not really.
Not really. I do like how notice cardboard boxes is
yeah, it's so much fun.
A go-to for most of those movies is like, oh, if there's cardboard boxes, there's gonna be a fight.
Yeah, we've noticed a lot of that stuff over the years. The cardboard boxes, the driving sequence to start the movie.
And Aaron noticed the pinky ring.
The pinky ring. Somebody just
you're the bad guy now. You're the bad guy in the movie.
I'll tell you what, this is your little exclusive. I'm thinking on episodes where I'm going to torture people, if you see me wearing that at the beginning, that's going to be the tell.
That'll be the tell. Oh, nice. Okay. That'll be
the tell.
It'll be like, oh, I know what's happening.
Yeah, if I'm picking a movie that is just going to be brutal, if I have the pinky ring on, it's going to be a bad one.
Of course, you might not be or Seagal, yes. Well, he deserves his own special thing for that.
But no, there's so many of those fun things that just we've watched so many of these now that you start to pick up on that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's one of them, man. The cardboard boxes is great.
Yeah.
Love it.
I also like how you spot the different. You're fast enough to spot the difference when it's an actor and a stunt person, like right away.
Oh yeah. it's harder when the director is like really good at
Yes.
hiding it. Like, you know, a lot of modern movies now, um, they can do a pretty good job of hiding it. But
Mhm.
in the 80s, man, they
Oh
didn't give
no,
a shit.
no.
You know, you could see their face half the time.
Like you can tell the wigs moved over and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah.
It's like,
It's
or with Seagal, it's like, oh, he just lost 100 pounds. Okay, that's
yeah, that's weird. He's changed ethnicities. Yeah, oh, the stuntmen, those are the best.
how were the stuntmen on the Last Kumite?
Stuntmen.
Oh, everyone's doing their own stunts.
Yep.
Well, of course you have Billy Blanks
Yep.
and stuff like that. So that's
Yeah.
that's great. Actually, that's a good sell that it's their own stunts.
Yeah. There are no stuntmen.
Because I mean, I give huge props to Billy Blanks because he's not a young man anymore.
67 years old. Doing jump kicks.
Doing jump
Doing
kicks.
jump kicks. I mean, he is a tank, dude. Like I was giving him a hug one day and I was like, oh my God.
That's solid.
He is solid. He's
Jesus.
so jacked.
I'm
He
like,
and Matthias.
yeah. I'm like, I'm a doughboy. It's like,
Yeah, I'm like, I am such a fat YouTube piece of shit. All these guys are in their 60s and they look amazing.
yeah.
Cynthia just ripped out a split one day when we were filming. She had to film a scene and she just did a split, no warm up, just did a split. I'm like, wow, she's like 63 or something, or 66.
Yeah.
She may be 66.
That's crazy. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing for them, but it's just sort of like you're going, yeah, I can't even imagine trying half a split or
Kurt McKinney moved so well. I would have had no idea that guy was in his 60s.
Jesus.
He has a spinning kick that is crazy fast. I would have had no clue.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say mine would be telegraphed from like, you'd have time to read a chapter. Oh, is he almost done his kick yet?
Yeah, and I'd blow my hip out halfway around.
Exactly. You'd be like, I'm done. Medic. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but I know that's just incredible that you got to meet all these people and hung out with them. Sorry, that's my cat in the background there.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's really cool.
And that must have been like one of the highlights for doing the whole YouTube thing. I mean, besides all the fans and everything, just be able to say like, I got to hang out with these people. I helped make a movie.
Yeah, I mean, the fans thing. Honestly, I don't even really like using that word, not for like a douchey reason, but I feel
no,
like it like creates a barrier. Like I'm
yeah,
above other people, and I don't like that because we're just fat idiots in our basement watching movies. Like we're not doing anything, you know. But because of that, and I also don't leave the house much because I work from home.
yeah.
You know, Aaron and I only have one car between us, so I don't meet people that often who know who I am. It's not like I walk down the street and I'm just getting recognized all the time. I got recognized way more in Germany than I do here, which blew me away.
Wow.
Yeah, really surprised me. So that's really not a big thing with YouTube for me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But getting to meet everybody was super cool, and getting to see just how chill everybody was my favorite thing.
That's I think the best takeaway I've heard is that everyone's just so easygoing. Do you do conventions though? Like, do you go to cons regularly or semi-regularly? No, you're just.
Nope. I don't do anything, man. We've talked about maybe getting a table at a convention or two, just to be able to get out and meet people.
I drink beer and watch movies.
Yeah, honestly. So a lot of people are like, "Hey, do you want to do this? You should come down here and do a meet and greet." I'm like, eh. So we've been talking about maybe getting a table or two here or there, but I don't even know if the channel's big enough to warrant that. And a lot of our audience is older.
Yeah,
not like old, but like 30 plus, 35.
Yeah, they're not
plus.
the 18 to 25 demographic. It's
right. How many of them are going to even want to come out and give a shit? I don't know. I
think that it'd surprise you how many people would actually come out.
You could be right. I have no idea. I have no clue, man. People ask me questions about, oh, how should you do this? Or what do you think about? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't get half our episodes in focus. I don't know what's going on. It's true. Our memory card filled up on an episode 2 weeks ago. I didn't catch the last half hour of it because I forgot to dump the memory card. Yeah. Like, well, that part of it's going to be Patreon only, I guess, because I can't do anything with it. We didn't get the end of the movie.
But again, I was going to say it's actually good that you managed to get all the Patreon supporters that you do.
Yeah. Again, it's what keeps me afloat, to be honest. Good.
And I think that's been a big help for a lot of producers or creators is Patreon and that sort of idea, because as you know, with YouTube demonetizing left, right, and center without an idea,
Yep.
You can't rely on that income.
Yep. That's
And
exactly it.
it's like you need an income to continue to do it. I mean, I know you'd like to do it for free, but you'd be like, I'll go back to the old days where it's me and Brian with, sitting in the chairs after we've watched the movie.
Yeah. I don't want to go back to those days. No, dude, that's a lot of work to not make money, like
Yes.
when I decided maybe 2 years ago, yeah, it's 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to try to make the channable, channable, the channable.
The channable.
I want to make the channable viable.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I had to do weekly episodes.
Yes.
And I did that for 6 months, I want to say, before anything happened. Like it was just 6 months of working for free, just grinding for free. I don't miss those days.
No.
I like to be able to at least have some kind of security and being able to have membership on YouTube. And although I don't trust them, and Patreon is huge. And everybody who joins there, I mean, I keep trying to add more stuff to it, so I feel like people are getting their money's worth because I know how the minimum amount of money I can make now per month because the Patreon's consistent, whereas the YouTube is just all over the place.
If it's a good month, you're like, great, bonus. But if it's
exactly,
but then again, like you said, they can just demonetize any video all of a sudden, and you're like,
that's exactly what they did. A whole bunch of my old stuff just gone. Like that, dude, you're killing me. Yeah. So it's huge. So I'm just, I'm always trying to do better stuff there. I could always do more. We just added a Discord last week. I hope
cool.
People enjoy that. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but we have one.
No, I'll have to get the information from you there later on. Thank you very much, Jason, for joining us again. And all the best for So Bad It's Good and for the Last Kumite. Thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll catch you the next time.
All right. Thanks, buddy.